a bicycle and the wheels fall off. Section 14.2 and Section 14.3, as I've said before, go together. The difference is that in Section 14.3, you've had a conversation with the seller. Yeah? You said to the seller, I need a pair of trainers for walking, I need a pair of trainers for running, I need a pair of trainers for hiking or whatever. So you've clearly explained to the seller what you need the items for. Do you want flour for baking or flour for cooking, and so on? You've clearly identified what you need the goods for. If all of a sudden you start to use the goods and they're not fit for that particular purpose, then there's a breach of Section 13. But as I say, you score points by using cases to explain these different implied terms. And in your mobile phone contract, I think the key thing about having a mobile phone would be to communicate. So if you can't communicate because you're not getting a signal, for example, then there's an issue. There's a breach of Section 14.2. It's not fit for purpose and it won't be of satisfactory quality. 15 is all about sale by sample. What examples did we think about? Sale by sample. What examples did we think about? Yes.
Try before you buy sort of thing.
Yes, absolutely. Anything like that. Yeah.
Could be anything like a pair of glasses, try them on.
Yes. Food, anything like that. Absolutely. So if there's if you've tried something and you buy some more, and the bulk you buy isn't as good as what you've tasted or tried, then you can clearly ask for compensation based on Section 15. Again, find a case, and that's why you would need a textbook, a business law textbook, quite a lot in the library, to help you find these suitable cases. Right, and then the final bit for D2 will be talking about remedies, and again we've looked at remedies in one of the past tasks. So the first thing you need to talk about is remoteness of damages. Just to remind you, remoteness of damages relates to the limits placed on compensation you can claim. Sometimes the compensation you're claiming will be classed as too remote, it's too far removed from the original purpose of the contract. If you buy a pair of trainers to run a marathon, and you're going to win £1 million for running the marathon, then the courts are more likely to say you can claim for the faulty pair of trainers, but not for the £1 million you would have won if the trainers had worked properly for you. So remoteness of damages is all about only allowing you to claim compensation based on the actual contract at the time. If you, however, did say to the seller that you wanted the trainers to run a marathon, that's a different matter. But otherwise, the seller can't always anticipate what you might use the item for apart from its basic purpose. Okay? So, remoteness of damages, have the ambassador Dale have a look at that case and relate it to remoteness of damages. So compensation, that's the most obvious form of remedy. We said a remedy is a solution. So if your mobile phone provider doesn't do what they've promised to do, then you want some form of compensation, either in the form of a better service, a better phone, or money compensation. It doesn't matter how the compensation or the remedy is sorted out, so long as you're happy, I think is the key thing. Having said that, some companies will have a limited amount of ways of solving the problem for you. As long as it's solved, that's important. Right, not always relevant to mobile phone contracts, but another form of a solution is an injunction. And we had a look at two types when we looked at remedies the other time. Say this particular remedy is more relevant to family law issues. So a positive injunction, a negative injunction I'm sure you remember what the difference is. So just explain what the difference is in your answer, and clearly state it mainly relates to family law issues. Yeah. Negative ones are ones that we're more familiar with. You're not allowed to do a certain thing. A positive one is where you're forced to do a certain thing. Okay, so in child abuse cases or domestic violence cases, you would find that the courts might impose a negative injunction stopping you from going anywhere near the victim, for example, or near the victim's property. To do with child maintenance, for example, I gave this example before, positive injunction would require you to carry out specific duties to make payments to your former spouse and so on. Specific performance is another type of solving problems in law in general, and we did say this tends to relate to contracts which are very expensive and normally relates to the purchase of land. So if we have a look at an example. So specific performance is to do with acquiring an interest in land, and also another way of acquiring an interest in land is simply buying a house. And every now and again you might face the horrible experience of being gazumped, and you would go to court and ask for specific performance. If you're gazumped, just to remind you, what did we say gazumping meant? I mentioned this some time ago when we looked at some of the past house. If you buy a house and you're gazumped, correct?
Sell it to someone, then sell it to someone else for money.
Yes, absolutely. So they originally agree with you to sell the house to you for £100,000, then all of a sudden somebody offers £120,000 they sell to that higher person. And then you would go to court and ask for a remedy or solution, because you want that house and you want that house only. Money compensation wouldn't be any good to you, so you ask the court for specific performance. This type of remedy is what we call an equitable remedy. It's an equitable remedy, which also means that the court will only allow this remedy if it's fair. It's just a matter of going through the different remedies and talking about them. You're not using your phone in my lesson, are you, young man?
No.
No? Alright, thank you. Right, mitigation of loss, very important. And that's to do with the steps that you have to take in order to claim compensation. So even though you've suffered a loss, we said the other side, that's very important that you try and make things better. Okay, so the injured party, mitigation of loss. Before you go to court and suggest that you've been treated badly because the other party has broken the contract, the court will require you to at least try and solve the problem yourself. It doesn't seem fair, but that's how contract law works. If you arrange to buy a certain amount of items and they are not delivered, then you have to fork out again and try and buy those items from somebody else. And then you can sue the original person who should have delivered the goods in the first place. So mitigation of loss is what you do before you claim compensation. Okay, so that's a key thing to remember, and that's your explanation as to what mitigation of loss is all about. I think on that note, you go to apply all those issues to your standard form contract, and that brings the presentation to an end. Okay. So I'm just going to stop this a minute. Stephen.